tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard. The filament slides out of its glowing nest. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Nothing happens. Something's missing. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. Nothing happens. The filament slides out of its glowing nest. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker. The mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6. UKV 123, unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any... Looks like a surveillance program. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in, a list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. Muindi, Insulinda, there's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this.
My God, it's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. This orange machine, turning the crank, is all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat and sugar? You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super pry bar. Don't even try to... If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand.
Equip the pry bar by going to the Tools tab in your inventory. From there, you can equip it to a held slot.
Turning the crank is all good. What better to assuage the creeping sense of... You slip your... No. If you want to...
Equip the pry...
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be the ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you've got the bar jammed in there pretty well, but the lid simply... You see the pry bar's metal handle bending.
Yeah, well, that's a good pry bar. I have no idea, officer. This ice cream maker isn't important enough to requisition a special tool.
Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melting. The power has been cut off. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. At least it's not running them a loss anymore, now that you've unplugged the cable.
The fridge sits empty before you, an overindulgent wardrobe, now that the cooling systems aren't active. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from the paper still... A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rat.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice. The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's produced.
What are you doing? Wait, really? You should investigate, see if someone's upstairs. Looks like it. No one has used it in ages.
A lush maybe you could paint something with this coal. Leave a cave painting for future Still, it's good to have this dirt on you. Real men wear coal for makeup. A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. It's dark. The echo is...
What are you doing? Wait, really? Take your head out of the chimney, please. It's not safe.
It's dark.
What are you doing? Wait, really? You should investigate. Looks like it. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
Kuno care? Yeah? The Kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it? That's just some shit roofing gimps left behind. Lazy dinks. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. The fuck about it? Kuno's fuck gimp. Kuno uses the fuck gimp for target practice.
He could have just said he doesn't know.
Kuno knows shit. Kuno's not a snitch. That's all. Trying to make Kuno sing into the popo phone. Just a couple of pigs sniffing around in the dirt. That seems pretty fucking suspicious to Kuno.
Yeah, you tell the faggoty, Kuno.
Just a couple of pigs sniffing around.
Yeah, you tell the faggoty.
You're
Get lost,
He's on your crime scene.
trying to fuck at the Kuno.
Kuno gonna...
Normal is not what we got here. You've got to work with what you have for now.
Kuno doesn't...
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots. His skin is marbled with decaying veins and blotched. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a... Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck.
How should I know why you are squinting, officer?
The monster comes back into focus.
So, what do you think? I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
It means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen...
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Did we? I don't feel lucky. I agree. Totally dead. Absolutely. I think he was upright immediately. The noose acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis here is in tune with the hanging. That's what I think. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first.
But there is no breath.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done. The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt. The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting it.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of...
Yes, we do. Climb up there and saw the branch? There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Yeah! Bang bang!
How? It absolutely will not, officer. That's not how physics work. It will maybe cut one thread loose.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
I'll blow his head off.
Take it! Take the shot!
Yeah, take the shot.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it in place. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
He's gonna fuck...
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements.
God damn it.
A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's test was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but the...
Fucking it!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
No, we are lucky as it is. Any more mistakes could put us in...
Kuno's so...
The lieutenant...
Remain collegial, officer. It was an honest mistake, and I will not repeat it. I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down.
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
Someone else? You mean like the police? Someone already did. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others, it's bad as it is. Go ahead.
This is the sorriest...
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana poika! Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth!
The cold piece of bakelite.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot...
Kuno is silent. The buckle comes into focus in your sights.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss. Or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about? Do it! Set me free!
Don't.
Do it!
Intense shit, copper.
He waved his gun! It wasn't intense, it was pathetic!
You'll feel...
Look, he's crying! You... or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about?
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces, coming loose with a whir. With your hand numb from the recoil, You look at the body slump down. For a moment, the man appears to kneel, looking straight at you, helpless, trapped within itself.
Communism.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from, only that it's right. Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
By being a damn good shot. Ace is high.
The lieutenant takes a little hop to perform the customary salutation.
I knew these guys were f***ed.
Officer, let's keep our attention on the victim. We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before... Excuse me.
Slumped on the ground like that is not in...
The stench is getting bad. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. I need a little breather before we do the autopsy. In the meantime, we should try to interview Everard Clare, the leader of the Union. Harbor property was clearly used in the hanging. The harbor just east of here. Getting in might prove a challenge, though. I would also suggest we interview Joyce, the Wild Pines representative. But we've already done that, so good for us. One down, one to go. Yes. And those were the interviewees. Let's go.
The rotting man, the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. Unfortunately, no. And hygienically, they are better than nothing. Tell you what, yes, you see, the field autopsy form is the one on red copier paper.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first.
That's you. Not an energetic start to an autopsy, I agree.
Pig's messed up. Kuno feels pity.
Just leave it empty, officer.
The corpse lies there, indifferent to your retrograde amnesia.
KK57-0803.0815. Next. NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook.
Mondial.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky, fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex.
Nor does he look male.
We're still going with March 4th, 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
None, at least not after the initial examination.
He places his gloved hand on the dead man's chest. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic. Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small, elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. The building is tall, 7 stories wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied, and so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's up.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size?
the disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something.
The boots are ceramic. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters, generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity? Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters. The hanged man lets out.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt.
See, my pig is gonna fuck.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is... The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in. After some deliberation, you sink the cut. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
No! It's gonna happen, see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating, especially the hip. Before you is a temple of pain that knew.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. Last item, hands.
The hand is surprisingly heavy to lift, filled with decay liquid.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
You don't even have a joke.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house.
Yeah, Jack, that fuck!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth. Hepatobiliary, NA. Same for toxicology and serology, NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the head. Gastrointestinal. Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voilà. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 feels. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Head, chest, and your opinion, officer? Fatal injury by seagulls? Those are mean, yes, but not that mean. Yes, it's... That's right. What's next? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response.
At maximum
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the...
Right. Next, a dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. You run your hands over the victim's cold body. You pull down his breeches.
can't get enough.
Do you think we missed something? Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. Hey, wasn't there a giant ice bear sarcophagus below that building?
Why, yes, there was. It was massive. Red eyes glowing in the dark.
Now, detective, I've rarely been disappointed by the size of a giant ice bear fridge, but I think we should still take a look at it first. Make sure it's big enough before we carry him over. Let's move. With every hour, whatever we are looking for in the deceased will become harder to find.
bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge.
It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it's more than big enough and cold enough. Honestly, it's perfect. All we have to do is plug the fridge back in. Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. At least it's...
The fridge sits empty before. Only the black cable is plugged into the breaker box. Something close to you.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but this orange machine is dead still. It has the ice You see the pry.
Yeah, well, I have no idea.
Sooner or later, turning the crank. Turning the crank. What better to us? Both cables are unplugged. A giant electric mammal awakens. The dead body is going to be safe in the embrace of its cold inner.
Great. The owners of this building will just have to keep paying for the electricity sucked up by this monstrosity a little longer. Let's return to the fridge.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red, watching over all.
Of course. I'll take the head, you take the feet. It's not going to be the easy.
The two of you. The body is heavier than you expected and stinkier. It takes half an hour to get down to the basement, then 10 more to stuff it into the fridge. The lieutenant takes a step back to admire.
Beautiful. A dead body in a nice bare fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done.
You've definitely earned a drink after this. Perhaps even some pagan rites.
No, not really. Look at that. What have we done? We stuffed a dead body in a nice bare fridge. This story does not leave this room. As impressive as the fridge is, this is a small victory. At least we've stopped.
Inside the icy realm of the ice bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting. You touch the dead man's body. His skin is cold.
It'll come to you sooner or later. At least he's safe here until then. If you think so, officer, I'm not. I need a little help for carrying him to the holding pen of my kinema. I'll take it from there. It's too late to take him into processing today. I'll take him first thing tomorrow.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Of course. What is the number, officer?
Yes, hold on.
Received. Hold on.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi slowly begins to tap a little rhythm.
Officer, I have Sylvie Malaika on the line for you. Yes, hello? Oh, right.
There is no resentment in her tone. She wants you to ask her out. No question about it.
You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly, I'm not really comfortable discussing it with you. Let's just say I left because you know whom.
You think you hear a sliver? Don't be paranoid. She's obviously talking about someone else, not you.